Welcome back to Conference USA Media Day. I'm Ron Thulin. Joining us now from the minors of UTEP, head coach Sean Kugler. Sean, good to see you again, bud.
Nice to see you.
Everything good?
Doing good.
Before I get to the players, last year, your first season as the head coach of UTEP, what did you learn?
Well, it was a rough season, but I learned that, we had a plan going into it, and we didn't deviate from that plan. We have high standards on and off the field that we're holding our players accountable to, and we set the foundation for our program for years to come. So we're going to stick with everything, and the players realize that, and the players that we have on our team right now are really working hard.
Did you ever think, though, that maybe we can get a quicker fix? I mean, because you get a little frustrated because you're not used to having a losing season.
Well, that wasn't the plan. We didn't think quick fix in any form or fashion. We wanted to recruit high school kids, develop them, implement a system, physical on both sides of the ball, running the ball, and we did understand there was going to be growing pains with that because with those systems you got to have the right type of tools to run it, and we know that. So, but we're not frustrated by that. Our job is to go out there and recruit the type of players we need and develop them, and it's the players' jobs to go out there and work and develop themselves.
Let's introduce the players that are with us. First of all, Wesley Miller, the senior defensive back. Wesley, good to have you.
Great to be
Pride
here.
of Fresno, California, by the way. Also, Jamel Showers, quarterback. Frustrating year last year.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, he was a transfer from Texas A&M. You got hurt last season, about 7 games in. How frustrating was that when that injury and you knew you weren't going to play? Because you were having a good year at that point.
Yes, sir. It was pretty frustrating, because I came to UTEP to play, and then got my season cut short. So, it's always frustrating if you don't get to finish the season.
Is there a mental block that, you obviously threw for 11 touchdowns, you ran for 4, had over 1,200 yards passing, that afraid of getting hurt again? Or you have blocked that completely out?
I pretty much blocked it completely out because, I feel like if I try to play, in a way that I'm not going to get hurt, then I feel like I'm probably going to get hurt, if I'm trying to play too safe, and then it'll probably just take away from my abilities.
Obviously, you went to Texas A&M, and we talked about that in the transfer. Playing for UTEP, does this kind of give you a second breath, a second life?
Oh, for sure. If you ask my parents, I was pretty much depressed. Football is pretty much everything to me. It's been everything to me my whole life, and Coach Coos gave me the opportunity to come play. So, it's definitely a breath of fresh air for me.
So this year, this is the year for you, right?
Yes, sir. Do or die this year.
How hard did you work this summer?
Really hard. I try to get my body fat down, just trying to be in the best shape I can be, to help my team win. From
a team leadership standpoint, where are you as far as that is concerned?
I think I've come a long way. I think last year me and Coach Coos met, and, he pretty much was just saying, don't be a stranger. You know everybody now. Everybody knows that you're the leader, and I think I've come a long way. I'm not really afraid to step on toes anymore, and I just know what we need to do to win and what I need to do to win as a leader.
Good for you, buddy. Wesley Miller, Conference USA academic medal 4 times, also Conference USA honor roll. And you also were banged up last season. Frustrating?
Very frustrating. I think I only played in 3 games, so anytime you don't finish the season, it's pretty tough.
Now, when you came to UTEP, you weren't the big Texas heralded recruit, but you started playing right away.
Yeah, I'm still not very big, but I guess that's not what
but you're
what
fast.
I offer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I bring some intelligence to the field, and also a lot of heart and toughness and just passion for the game.
But did you play with a chip on your shoulder back then?
I think I still do. When people look at me, they're not necessarily thinking Division I safety, so there's always going to be a chip on my shoulder for that. Academic
all honors, though. That is very difficult to try to do and play football at the same time. What's your major?
I actually just graduated with a major in economics, with my bachelor's in economics.
Great. Yeah, real good. That trumps my speech degree.
No.
You win that one. Wes, we'll be talking to you in just a couple of minutes. 18 redshirt freshmen or sophomore were on the 2 deep last year. You were a very, very young team. You talked about putting the blocks in place. That is a great block. They got some much needed experience, obviously at the expense of wins and losses, but these kids got experience last year.
Sure, at certain positions we were very young, in particular the secondary. Most of those guys were freshmen, and I feel it's a talented group, and they had their growing pains, but getting out there in the field, there's only one way to get better, and that is experience, and we did gain a lot of experience with our younger players, and they'll be the staple of our team.
When I look at your offense last year, when your skill positions were healthy, the first part of the season, your offensive running game was on a roll. It seemed like you really had some rhythm last year.
We did, Jamil, and then went down against Rice, and then Aaron Jones and Darren Lufasa, who's essentially right up the pipe. That's our starting backfield, went down in one game, and we didn't overcome it. And we got to be better at that the next guy needs to step up and do a good job. But we were very efficient on offense until we had the injuries, but injuries aren't an excuse in football, and we got to do a better job of overcoming injuries in the future.
Who has to be the top target wide receiver this season? Do you have to find somebody?
Ian Hamilton, I feel, has all the tools to be that guy. He had an outstanding spring. He's got great size. He's 6'5", 230. I think him and Jamil have a great connection. And then Eric Tomlinson, I really feel, is one of the best tight ends in the conference. He's a complete tight end that not only does the dirty work blocking, but he's an outstanding receiver, and he's 6'7". So we've got some targets there. And we have some very good young receivers. They just haven't been on the field, and one of those guys is going to have to step up.
Let's talk about the offensive line, because you have 3 starters returning on the offensive line. The first thing I noticed, they look about 10 pounds heavier each if you go across the board. Are you switching some positions around in order to get bigger at certain areas?
Correct. Well, we're trying to get more athletic on the edges, trying to go against the style of defenses that we face, and we're trying to get more physical with better size inside. But that's been an emphasis for really our whole program on both sides of the ball. We want to get bigger and more physical on the offense and defensive line, and that stems to the type of players that we're bringing into the program. But our guards this year will both be about 315, 320. We were playing with 275, 80-pound guards last year, so we want to be able to match up physically and play the style of ball that we want to play.
Let's talk about the defense. You changing defensive formation this year?
Well, last year we had a defensive coordinator that left after spring ball to go to the University of Florida. So Coach Stoker, who we hired from Sam Houston, who's an outstanding coach, his first meeting with the players was the first fall practice. So you can imagine the defense was behind the 8 ball from the beginning, and then the injury bug hit them as well. But I've been more pleased with the progress of our defense this spring than anything on our team. It's night and day. And the kids are flying around. They understand the system now, and they're enjoying it. And I think that'll probably be the most dramatic improvement on our team this year. Looking forward to it.
You're going to be a 4-2-5?
Nickel 4-2-5, correct.
Nickel 4-2-5,
yes,
and they were 3-4 last year. So it's kind of a big change, not only formation-wise, but also terminology-wise.
Terminology-wise, and but these kids have really bought into what Coach Stoker's doing, and they're excited about playing in his system. It's a pressure-based system, and we need that in our league. One
final question. I saw you sign 7 defensive linemen. Obviously a point of emphasis.
Yeah, it's linemen on both sides of the ball aren't going to be an afterthought at UTEP. It's going to be the mainstay of our program, and you'll probably see that every year from here on out.
And you get that from your pedigree, though, don't you?
Yeah, I think everything starts from the inside out, and if you're quality on both the offensive and defensive lines, you got a chance. And as Jamil can attest as a quarterback, you got that extra second to deliver the ball. If you're a running back and that hole's 2 inches wider, you're going to be explosive on offense, and then you got to have defensive linemen to be able to stop the run on defense, and that's where it all starts, we feel.
Coach, good to see you.
Thank you.
Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Gentlemen,
Yes,
stay healthy, okay?
Yes, sir.
Both of you
Trying
guys.
to.
Best of luck. We'll be back after this.